outside perspective on the one we call Jane seems to be in order for those of you who don't know about her, which is actually most people, since only one scientist survived to tell any tale. But I've done my research, and I've decided to piece together as much as I know. Jane was 19 and a year out of high school when she heard the news of her parents' death, a car accident on the way home from a dinner engagement. But even so, she mourned their loss greatly for a good few months. Not having a job or any experience in the real world, the measly life insurance sum that the parents left had barely kept her in her two-bedroom apartment. She was now a month late on the rent and desperately needed to find more money, filling out application after application to any place she could possibly be hired. Finally, one day, as she read the newspaper, she came upon an article reading, "Test subjects needed, a simple tube of blood and $500 payout for whomever applies." She shrugged and said, "This is something I definitely need." So she picked up the phone and dialed the number. A receptionist quickly gave her a date and time that was about a week away, and told her to be early. Jane said she understood and gave a sigh of relief. At least some of the rent would be paid, even if her electricity and water were about to be cut off. As the week progressed, she got a call back from a diner down the road. She'd been hired as a night shift waitress and had to completely change her sleeping schedule, ensuring her already pale skin would stay that way. The tips weren't great though, and she was dying inside to get that $500 for her blood sample. On the day of her appointment, she woke up early, feeling groggy and tired, as she'd only gotten 2 hours sleep. She managed to throw on some clothes and drive herself to the lab, which looked like a standardised lab you would see in the movies, almost like the CDC with its size and all. As she walked inside, the receptionist immediately took her to the phlebotomy room, where a worker grabbed a green top tube from the table, wrapped a tourniquet on her arm, and drew her blood. He popped the tourniquet, pulled the needle, and gave her a band-aid, and then sent her to the front desk, where the receptionist gave her $500 in cash, and told her that if her blood tested right, within a week she would get a call back. But instead of $500, she would be given $10,000. This excited Jane, and as she left, she hoped beyond hope that she was the proper one. The next week seemed to pick up very well for Jane. After paying the due rent with the $500, and using the measly amount of tips to keep her electricity on, she noticed that she was starting to get more and more tips at work. If this kept up, maybe she'd finally be able to start college like she hoped. Exactly a week later, she got the phone call that changed her life. It was the laboratory receptionist telling her that her blood type matched the one they needed, and all she had to do was come down for 2 more blood tests to gain her $10,000. Jane quickly jumped out of bed and drove like a maniac to get there. This was so exciting, and this would help her so very much. But the moment she stepped inside the lab, she was grabbed by 2 large men. She screamed and out of instinct fought back, using the self-defense training her parents made her go through in school. One of them she kicked in the shin, causing a loud snapping noise to be heard. He screamed and started to fall, and as he did, she landed a blow to his stomach, officially making him double over before hitting his nose, hard enough to knock him out. Her victory was short-lived though, as a blow to the back of her head made everything fuzzy, and then she blacked out. When she awoke, she had a splitting headache and was groggy as hell. She overheard some scientists saying something about liquid hate replacement and how it hadn't worked yet, and another tell the first that no one was completely compatible as she was, and if she dies, she has no family, and only a job that can be easily explained away. Finally, she regained her consciousness to full, and began to struggle and scream for help, but it was to no avail. Eventually, she was wheeled into a room and had 2 machines hooked up to her main veins, one draining her blood and the other replacing it with a deep purple liquid. She fell silent for this and just let the process happen. I won't need to go into further detail after the process ended, since we have that one lucky scientist who managed to escape and record what happened. But short to say it was a success with many deaths in the process. One thing not specified though, was not only did the liquid hate fill her with complete contempt for Jeff and his kind, it also gave her powers, made her faster and stronger. It also gave her the ability to regenerate at will, with decreased pain sensation. It even allowed her to take the image of other people and literally confuse and mindfuck someone. Now, most of her hate, of course, is to Jeff, but their last bout, he's been out of the picture. She could sense when he came back to life, but she had no urge to kill him, or make sure that he was dead at the moment. Where was the fun in harming someone so weak? She enjoyed a fair fight, or what passed as fair with her power and skill. No, she'd wait for him to heal, and in the meantime, just have some fun with some other people. Rapists, killers, adulterers, even people who just merely look at her wrong. Just lowly people she finds that need to be eradicated. But don't worry. When Jeff heals, she will meet him again.